I am Jenna Bosonko, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. We find out why some of the Dalasi notes in use in the Gambia are not suitable for circulation. A 25-year-old man suffering from a heart condition needs urgent treatment according to his medical report from MRC Unit, the Gambia. We visited Fatou Sekan, a young woman in Kumboda Silami, who has been engaged in vegetable production for more than a decade and is now reaping the benefit. In sports news, Gambia's head coach Tom Sienfeld has expressed his frustration and disappointment at his team's preparation ahead of the country's maiden AFCON appearance. Also in sports, former England and Arsenal striker Ian Wright has rebunked those who are disrespecting the Africa Cup of Nations. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, in the Gambia, paper money remains the most used currency. However, some of the Dalasi notes in use are not suitable for circulation because of their physical condition. Abibatu Sise finds out why some of our banknotes are in such a bad state.
Money or currency is an accepted medium of exchange circulating anonymously from person to person and country to country, thus facilitating trade or exchange of goods and services. In the Gambia, our Dalasi notes are sometimes in such a deplorable state that people refuse to take them when given as change. Alhaji Nyasi, the Ajib Bank branch manager at Carava Avenue, highlighted the importance of handling money with care, saying that poor handling of paper money has an effect on the economy. He gives advice on how to properly handle money.
What I would recommend to the general public, money should not be folded. One should be able to at least handle it with care, either by just folding it a little and put it inside your wallet, preferably. Generally, I would advise people to be using wallet, and place this money so that it is, in order, so that you can be able to at least do your financial transactions and then ensure that it is properly saved.
Some of our banknotes are torn, worn, dirty, or defaced. Bilal Jaite, chef de garage at Serakunda, says apprentices and their passengers always have issues with worn-out notes and that most of the money being used are not fit for circulation. He also gives this advice.
We should be mindful and handle the money with proper care. We should give utmost respect to our money and know that it belongs to the country. There is no bad money, but if you make it bad, then you are belittling yourself and your country.
In 2019, the Central Bank of the Gambia released new banknotes. The new Dalasi notes bear features considered representative of the country, species of different birds and historic sites. The denominations include 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, and $200. Musu Jaju, a businesswoman, believes that the major causes of worn-out money in circulation is due to the way people handle money. She advises people to desist from such practices.
Man maa ngi ni ku ma jox xaalis bu baax dama ko ñëpp xamee nañ ma ko fii ku ma jox dama koy delloo du ma ne nangu xaalis bu baax loolu moo tax ma ut baax di fa dugal.
Everyone here knows that I don't accept worn-out notes because I make sure that I keep mine in my bag. I am urging all those engaging in business to do the same. According to many we spoke to, a lot of money we have in the country is not fit for circulation, causing problems especially between taxi drivers, commercial drivers and their passengers, shop owners and other businesses who all reject torn or worn-out notes. Unless there is a change in the mindset that money is precious and therefore should be handled with care to preserve it, people will continue to reject worn-out notes, causing problems for everyone. For QTV News, I am Abibatu Sise.
Handle your money with care. Now, Abdurrahman Fofana, a 25-year-old man suffering from a heart condition, needs urgent treatment according to his medical report from MRC Unit The Gambia. It is likely he will have to go overseas to get the required treatment. QTV's Ajibintu Drame visited Abdurrahman and his mother at Manjai, and this is her report.
Abdurrahman Fofana suffers from dilated cardiomyopathy, which means that his heart cannot pump blood like a healthy heart. In simple terms, cardiomyopathy refers to an abnormal heart muscle. Some cases are mild and require no treatment, but in other cases, the condition causes severe symptoms such as breathing difficulty and leg swelling and leads to serious complications. The disease is one of many possible causes of heart failure, which happens when the heart is unable to pump well enough to meet the body's need for oxygen-carrying blood. Abdurrahman is his mother's firstborn and was a tailor and iron bender. He has been the main breadwinner for his mother and 4 siblings. However, because of his condition, which restricts what he can do physically, he now spends most of his time sitting at home. He explains.
I've
been sick for a long time, but I did not discover the cause of it early. But since the Ramadan, it has been affecting me even more. When I play football, I get tired easily. And once after I had played in a tournament, it had attacked me. I told my mother about it, and she took me for a checkup at the hospital. They told me I have a heart problem. They gave me a medicine which has had no effect. Before I was diagnosed with a heart problem, I went to several hospitals, who all thought that I had asthma or ulcer. I can't sleep without a fan because I need air.
Abdurrahman says his mother takes care of him and some of his neighbors also help. He appeals to the people for help.
When my heart jumps, I can feel it. I told the doctors about it, and they said it's because of my condition. When I sleep, I sometimes wake up startled and shivering. I plead for help from anyone. I really need help because the money needed for the surgery is about $1 million.
Aja Nyima Jata, Abdurrahman's mother, also explains. The doctor says his condition should not go untreated beyond 6 months, and this was said in October. Abdurrahman's mother calls on everyone to help her son. To help Abdurrahman, contact QTV on 3333245 or email news@qtv.gm. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
Very unfortunate news there. Now, being involved in successful vegetable production can change one's life for the better. Fatou Sekan, a young woman in Kombo Dasilame who has been engaged in vegetable production for more than a decade, is now reaping the benefit. Our reporter Momodu Gajaga visited Fatou at the Youth Garden in Dasilame and he fastened this report.
It's mid-morning when the sun is beating down hard, a time when Fatou Sekan begins work in the garden. First, she waters okra, lettuce and cabbage plants. With a solar-powered water pumping system, reservoirs are filled with water. She uses watering cans to water the beds. She explains her journey into gardening.
So ngaje ko fenti ko abente samba kanyaro.
Gardening is something I have been exposed to since I was young. It is a profession that is shaping my future.
Gardening has become a source of income for Fatou and her family. After facing lots of challenges in school, Fatou says gardening has changed her fortunes.
Kata gardening na ningita school, kata gardening na. So after another drop grade 9 because of school fee. Kabrin dropped the grade 9, nata murum back to the garden again. Nata nga make fanga ko dindin so mi alon ko asana school fees labanu. Nata nga school fees jo, nata continue.
I used to go to work in the garden after I closed from school. I dropped out of school at some point at grade 9 due to a lack of school fees. However, I continued working until I got some money to pay my school fees.
Family is an important part of Fatou's story. She said gardening is a way of life for her after learning it from her mother. Since going into gardening, She has been using the proceeds to support herself and her family.
Bibi tentin den nga gadi no soto nga de maro so nga gadi no soto gadi no mi yalan ko abakela ninna family tar because of hanin gadi no to ninna family bi because ntalla family bi nga gadi no long ndumbe do ko la gadi no kono so ning arta nga gadi no soto mi anka warta mi yalan ko mbeddo ko keno la je.
I would like to get support to expand my vegetable production because my family depend on it as a source of income.
Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Inspirational story there by Mamudu Gajaga. Now we will go for a short commercial break, and when we come back we have some more news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
Q City New Year's Eve Gala. It's the time of the year again. Time to end it with a bang and in style. Join our annual New Year's Eve feast in a breathtaking environment with the amazing Keba Taylor Band and the exceptional Bud Hammer, the man with the golden voice. And to top it all, the jaw-dropping fireworks at midnight to celebrate the beginning of a rocking new year filled with all the happiness in the world. Celebrate and make New Year's resolutions with family and loved ones at Q City. Tickets are only $3,500 for individual and $2,000 for children 12 and under, and a 10% discount for every table of 10. Call 33-72489 or 33-00056 for more info. Q City New Year's Eve Gala. Cheers to the good life that awaits us all.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now let's take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. Gambia's head coach, Tom Cienfeld, has expressed his frustration and disappointment at his team's preparation ahead of the country's maiden AFCON appearance. Babu Karsi has the rest of that.
The coach was speaking to the GFF media team in Doha, where the team is currently camping in preparation for the AFCON tournament in Cameroon. 3 days after arriving, the Belgian has only 14 players. 2 have tested positive for COVID-19, and another 2 are nursing minor injuries. Despite the challenges, Tom Cienfeld is full of praise for those in camp and is hopeful that things will improve.
Cool at the moment, but the next days hopefully it will be better. But most important is the atmosphere in the group. The boys were sharp. It was a good training session. Everyone looked very happy. Hopefully we recover some players from injury. Hopefully there comes a negative COVID test, and still some players have to arrive so that we can train tomorrow. First time real in the preparation to AFCON and in the preparation actually also to the Algerian game. Yeah, Abla Jallo is here, but is still injured. We hope that he can join tomorrow. We will assess later today. He came with an injury from his club. Noah Sonko-Sundberg and Babuka Gay have to arrive tonight. And then we are waiting for hopefully negative COVID test about 2 players who are in the camp. That's Ibrahima Darbu and Omar Colley. Hopefully everything goes well, and tomorrow we have a bigger group to train. And then we can focus more on tactics and on preparing the game.
Asked if the setback will have a negative impact ahead of the much anticipated friendly against Algeria on New Year's Day, this is what Tom Cienfeld has to say.
If you can't train as a team, you can't prepare tactics, and you can't create the team yet. So at the moment we cannot talk about preparation for the game against Algeria because we have only 14 field players and 1 goalkeeper here. It's never good. We were hoping to start on Tuesday the training session. Through logistics, the team could only arrive Tuesday late in the afternoon. There was no chance anymore to train, also with COVID restrictions. This morning it was delayed because of a delayed COVID test. So instead of 3 training sessions, we had only 1 training session. Yeah, that delay everything, and we couldn't do any tactics as long as the team is not complete and all the jobs are not yet filled in.
The Gambia will face off against the Desert Foxes of Algeria, the reigning African champions, on Saturday before facing Syria on January 5th, 2022. The latest setback came a few days after group opponents Mali's head coach Mohamed Magasuba spoke about the Gambia, saying the Gambia national team, "I have followed their recent games, but to be frank and honest, I did not watch a single game of them and think, wow, this team is impressive. The way they play, how they score goals, and their formation is not something that worries me. They have some quality players, but as a team, I am not impressed, and I say this with humility. We are much stronger, and I expect nothing less than the 3 points." Along with Mali, Gambia are in Group H alongside Tunisia and Mauritania. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Looking forward to our maiden appearance on AFCON. Now, still on sports, former England and Arsenal striker Ian Wright has rebunked those who are disrespecting the Total Africa Cup of Nations. The tournament, which is due to kick off in Cameroon in 11 days' time, has been the subject of debate by European journalists on whether it should go on given the current state of the COVID-19 pandemic.
In a video shared on his TikTok page, the Arsenal legend cited racism as one of the reasons the tournament gets disrespected and questioned why the Euros played across 10 European countries at the height of the pandemic didn't attract the same criticism.
Is there ever a tournament more disrespected than the African Cup of Nations? There's no greater honour, none, as a sports person, than representing your country. The coverage is completely tinged with racism, completely tinged. We played our Euros across 10 countries in the middle of a pandemic, and there's no issue at all. But Cameroon, a single country hosting a tournament, is a problem. You're getting journalists asking players, players getting asked if they will be honouring the call-ups for their national teams, if they will be honouring. Imagine if that was an English player representing the Three Lions. Have you ever heard anybody asking an English player if will he be honouring the call-up? Can you imagine the furore? Loads of the best players in Europe right now are African. And if we love them at club level, why can't we love them at international level like their counterparts from across the globe? Why can't we? Why is this tournament constantly getting so much flack?
Ian Wright also reminded everyone that some of the best players in the world now are Africans and praised Ajax striker Sebastian Haller for standing up against the media backlash. Another person who came out to defend the AFCON tournament in Cameroon is Crystal Palace manager Patrick Vieira. The Arsenal legend, who was born in Senegal, is also quoted as saying that there needs to be more respect when discussing the Africa Cup of Nations. According to Vieira, journalists and people discussing whether AFCON should be held don't even know the importance of this tournament for Africans. He added he could never deny his players the chance to represent in his country, despite probably losing 3 Crystal Palace players during that period. Meanwhile, Confederation of African Football President Patrice Motsepe has said despite tales of doom and gloom, the Africa Cup of Nations finals will proceed in Cameroon next month. Motsepe said, "Well, I will be here from January 7th. Come January 9th, we will kick off. But it is important to believe in our people. We have to stop being the ones that lack confidence and are always expressing skeptical, negative views of our own people. All over the world, there are competitions where there are challenges. We have to be optimistic. Sometimes we are overcritical of ourselves. If we are not going to be confident of our people, who will have confidence in our people?" His visit to Cameroon came a week after Europe's top clubs threatened to refuse to release their African players for the event due to concerns over COVID-19 health protocol. Many of Africa's leading players are based at clubs in Europe, with several of them playing for clubs in England, including Liverpool's Naby Keita, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, Chelsea's Edouard Mendy, Riyad Mahrez of Manchester City, while Achraf Hakimi and Idrissa Gana Gueye are with Paris Saint-Germain in France. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
From that story by Babu Karsi, we will now take a look at our main headlines. We found out why some of the Dalasi notes in use in the Gambia are not suitable for circulation because of their physical condition due to poor handling. A 25-year-old man suffering from a heart condition needs urgent treatment, according to his medical report from MRC Unit, the Gambia. We visited Fatou Sekan, a young woman in Kombodasi Lame, who have been engaged in vegetable production for more than a decade and is now reaping the benefit. In sports news, Gambia's head coach Tom Sienfeld has expressed his frustration and disappointment at his team's preparation ahead of the country's maiden AFCON appearance. Also in sports, former England and Arsenal striker Ian Wright has debunked those who are disrespecting the Africa Cup of Nations. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for joining us.